Is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to Trailblazers Radio. I am your host, Frederick Beatty. Thank you so very much for tuning in with us tonight. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here rocking out with us, and I most definitely appreciate that, and that. So most definitely, most definitely want you guys to continue following us on all our social media platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Also, we have a Patreon page that's going to be coming up soon. Um, more details to follow with that. We also have a link tree page, so that's going to be coming up soon. So more details to follow with that. So want you guys to keep your ears and noses, keep your guys' eyes and ears to the ground for what we got going on, man. We also have a YouTube channel, man. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so please do me a favor, please do me a solid and go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Uh, but only do so if you feel that the content that we present is resonates with you. Um, and as we stated over the last few weeks, we are doing a GoFundMe for our sister Camaria Coco Fitted, to get her to get some medication for her, so this can save her life, man. So I'll make sure that the GoFundMe page is posted in the comments. So please, if you can, please, if you are able to, if you're able to give, by all means do so. If you're not able to give, make sure you share that with people in your circle of influence. Um, we most definitely appreciate that part of it. So you guys, I thank you so very much for doing that. Um, we also want to thank our viewers and our listeners. We thank you so very much for your viewership and your listenership. It means a lot to us. Um, as we continue to go move forward here and as we continue to move forward here, continue to push out great content for you guys. Um, whether it's my life has destiny podcast with Quint Jones and Coco Fenton, whether it's critical conversations with my sister LHG, or girl chat weekly with LHG, or any of the shows that I do, which is this is one of them, the check in, and then also the Office Alley. Um, so we thank you guys for your listenership and your viewership. It's not lost on us of the value of that. So thank you guys very much. So with all that being said, man, again, last but most definitely not least, please continue to keep the families of Chris Reese, Joshua Butler, and Deshaun DeBose in your prayers, man, as these families continue to go through this, go through this time of losing a loved one, man. If you your thoughts and your prayers are most definitely welcome and needed. So please keep these families in your thoughts and in your prayers, guys. We here at Trailblazers Radio most definitely appreciate that. So with all that being said and all that out of the way now, welcome to the check-in, guys. This is a show to where we talk about all things mental. We talk about all things mental health, and we also talk about things that are not necessarily related to mental health. But this particular show is kind of sort of related to mental health, but not necessarily. So what do I mean by that part of it? Well, as you can see from the title, it's called recentering myself. Or if you want to make this more appropriate, if you want to make this more applicable to you, it could be recentering you can say recentering myself, or you talk about recentering yourself. So what do I mean by recentering ourselves? In most cases, and I'll keep this part of it brief, and I don't plan to be before you guys very long. I did I did want to get this I did want to get this out here to you guys while I was still in my mind, and um while I was still on my mind, number one, but also while I feel, and also while it's still relevant, and things of that while it's still relevant in my mind. And I do feel that it's important for us to recenter ourselves. But what does it mean when we recenter ourselves? What it means is that we put ourselves back in balance. Every day that we live on this earth, there we are working to try we are working to try to keep ourselves centered or keep ourselves balanced. Whether that's a work life balance, whether that's a home life balance, we're balancing a spouse and children, or whether that's balancing work work, your life, and also we're also managing your business. All these things require all these things require a semblance of balance. And all these things require a semblance of being centered. But what happens when we are thrown? What happens when we're thrown off center? What happens when we're thrown out of balance? Well, a lot of things can happen when we're thrown off balance, and a lot of things can contribute to us being thrown off balance. Health changes can throw us off balance. Life changes can throw us off center. Um, catastrophic or traumatic events can throw us off center. And with and all these things that are going around us, how do we rebalance? How do we recenter ourselves? Well, the answer isn't that simple. And it's also varied from person to person because we're all human as human beings, we're all unique, right? But as I said before, the answer is varied. And everyone's situation is unique. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's situation is different. So, how do we recenter ourselves? Well, I have a few tenets here. There's 5 of them. And I want to kind of I want to briefly discuss each one of them with you. And I want and and I want you guys to kind of see where I'm coming from with these. And I definitely will. I want to make sure to make this an interactive thing. So if you guys want to comment, leave a comment here. I am watching. Um, I'm paying attention to the comments in the stream in the studio and things of that nature. So if you guys want to comment on these things, if you guys have something that you could add to this conversation, by all means do so. So with that being said, let's look at let's talk about the first tenet that I'm talking about. That the first tenet that I want to bring to your attention. Number one, and I'm going to put this in the comments. Tenet number one. Why are you shifting? Better yet, better yet, what factors are playing a role in your shift? So before I even get to that part of it, let's let's define what shifting or what a shift is. Now, if we break it down in the practical sense or the dictionary sense, that means to move or make to move or make adjustments. But when we're talking about life, it means the same thing. But there are factors that play a part in that. So why are we shifting? Maybe we're shifting because there's a life change. Maybe we're shifting because there maybe we're shifting through maybe we're shifting because there's a life change, maybe a change of job, maybe a change of employment. Um, maybe a change in maybe a change in some maybe a change in marital status, maybe a change in maybe a change in other statuses. Maybe you're pregnant and having a child. Maybe you're moving. Maybe you're trying to move forward from a from a divorce or any other type of situation. Those things do shift us. What factors play a role in that shift, y'all? A traumatic event, such as maybe the loss of a loved one, or maybe you went through an abusive relationship, or maybe you went through an abusive relationship with a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or maybe you were sexually assaulted as a child or as an adult, or maybe you were hit with so many life changes that certain parts of your life became unbearable. Those are some factors that can play a role in that shift. And when those factors come into play, you have to ask yourself why, not why these factors, not why these things are happening to you, because we're human beings, and we there are certain things we have control over, and there are certain things we don't have control over. But you have to ask yourself, are these do these things that I'm going through play a role in my shift in my shift? To answer that question, to be very honestly, they do. They do play a role in your shift, because these factors change your mind, change your mindset, or they contribute to a change in mindset. They contribute to a change in attitude. They contribute to a change in behavior. They contribute to a change of an outlook on how you view your life. They these factors change the perspective. And I think the question is more or less not to why you're shifting, because I think the answer to that question is easier to decipher or determine than than I'm making it sound that I'm making it sound, right? Because if we look intrinsically into ourselves, we can tell that certain things that have transpired that cause us to see things differently or move differently and other things of that nature, right? So understanding it is important to understand why we're shifting. Maybe we're shifting because maybe we're shifting because God wants to elevate us. God wants to elevate us. Maybe we're shifting because there's a a better opportunity out there for us. Maybe we're shifting because we're tired of being tired. Maybe we're shifting because certain aspects of a relationship has changed, right? To make it more personal, but to make it more personal to me, there's a lot of factors that are playing a role, an active role in my shift right now. Dealing, that I won't say dealing, but you know, certain thought processes of mine are different. Certain approaches that I certain long standing adaptive approaches have certain long standing approaches. that I've held on to have become different. Certain ways that I've reacted to certain situations in certain circumstances are different. And like I said, this is something that this is personal. This is personal to me. Um, my life shifted in 2015 when I lost my child. When I lost my youngest son to police violence, and that was a major shift. It was a shift in um, it was a shift in mindset. It was a shift in ideology, the ideology that I had at the time. Now, that's not to say that my ideology hasn't changed, but I've taken a different perspective on that, on my ideology and how I see things and how I view things. My perspective has changed. So for me, I understand the factors that are playing a role in my shift. To answer the question, to answer the question honestly as to why am I shifting is because simply because there has to be a change. There has to be a mindset change. There has to be a mindset change. And this is not and when I mentioned the factors, all the factors that I mentioned are a lot of factors. So emotional and mental factors play a role, but also physical factors can play a role in that too. Um, maybe we're shifting because we need to be better stewards of our bodies. Better stewards of our emotional and our mental health. One of the factors that's playing a major role in my shifting in my shift right now is the simple fact of wanting to be a much healthier person. Um, if you guys if you guys saw my the episode that I had about the VA, I mentioned that my blood pressure was like sky high, and whether that was a major thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to be present for my granddaughter. I wanted to be present for my be present for my loved ones, for my girlfriend, for those people who love and care about me. I want to be present for those people. I want to be present to see this particular platform continue to take off. Yeah, brother, it does. The load does determine the shift sometimes, and if the load is heavy, then we are if the lighter the load, the less the shift. The heavier the load, the more the shift. And sometimes we and I do want to say that sometimes we overcompensate when we shift. We do overcompensate when we shift because sometimes we make adjustments. Sometimes we shift and make adjustments that are just that are either not enough or that are either too much, and then everything kind of tips over, and then everything is way out of whack. You know what I mean? So for me there are emotional, mental, and physical factors that that answers that question as to that play the roles in that, but it also answers the question as to why I'm shifting. I'm shifting because I need to be better. I need to be a better person. I need to be present um, in every aspect of my life, physically, emotionally, mentally, and romantically. I need to be a better person to my girl. I need to be a better person to Monica, my girlfriend. I need to be a better father to my children. I need to be a better grandparent. I need to be a better CEO of be a better CEO of my platform. I need to be a better writer. All these things play a factor, but I also want to be I want to be a better son to my father, not just my biological father, but to my heavenly father. So all these factors play a role in my shift, and these are, and All those answers are the answers to my why, to my why. So no, so knowing what knowing so knowing what factors play a role in your shift, and also determining what you're also just like this is like my brother Derek McCullough just said, understanding your load. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With what you know, see what with what you know, need and see are also factors. Yes, yes, they are, sir. Yes, they are. Good point. Good point. Because and the reason that and these are things that I didn't personally that I didn't see. But see, my brother comes in right on time. It just puts it out there for you. Puts it out there for you. So to kind of sum it up, honestly speaking, to know what your why is, to know why you're shifting, you have to find out what those factors are, what factors are playing a role in your shift. You also need to find out the load that you're carrying. The the load that you're carrying, is it light? Is it intermediate? Is it heavy? Knowing what this is, knowing what that is, also knowing when when what you know need and see also play factors. And how the way he said it, I could have not said it any better. With what you know, the things that you've been taught, the things that you've learned through experiences, what you need. We all know that our needs are more our we all have wants and we all have needs. Our needs are way more important than our wants. So it always what we need also plays a role in our shift. Also, what we see, what we see, the things that we see, the things that we see based upon our personal experiences, the things that we see based upon the things that we look at based upon how we see them. Now, follow me on this. There's a difference between looking and seeing. Both of them. One of them is a physical act. The other one is a intern is a more internal act. When I look at people, I'm looking at someone with my physical eyes. But when I see that person, I see that person um, through spiritual eyes, through a more. And that to me, that is a much more intimate intimate connection with intimate um, vision of someone. But also how you see yourself in the world, how you see yourself on this plane of existence, how you see yourself as you interact and you you interface with people. Our interpersonal relationships also in play a factor in why we're shifting. So understanding why you're shifting it, but understand you because when you ask yourself why you're shifting, you have to pull those factors into it. The emotional factors, the mental factors, the physical factors. All these play a role in as to why. And when you pull all those together, they come and there should be an answer that forms when you ask yourself that question. Like I said, for me, and you have to make that answer personal to you. Like I said, I'm shifting because I want to be present in my granddaughter and my granddaughter's life. My granddaughter's life. I want to be present. I want to be present for I want to be present for my girlfriend and be a better I want to be a better man, not only to her but for me. Not only to me but for her. I want to be a better CEO for this platform. I want to be a better writer. Those are my whys. And it answers the larger why. So that's the first one, y'all. I hope that I didn't make it too confusing and things of that nature. Just in a nutshell, in a nutshell, the factors that I mentioned: emotional, physical, um, mental, also spiritual factors go into why you shift, why you shift. And sometimes you should, sometimes you, and just to kind of put this out there, sometimes you can be shifted. Sometimes you can be shifted without well, you can sometimes you can be shifted and not know you're being shifted. Now, eh, when you're being shifted and not knowing being shifted, sometimes that's just the move of God, you know. But you know what? That is a great question, Quit. And guess what? That answer would be varied if you ask somebody that question. I know if since you asked that question, I know since you asked that question, I will most definitely say to me, for me personally, it wasn't recognizable. It wasn't recognizable initially, but as I started experiencing things and started seeing things, then I recognized that okay, I saw things happen to me. I saw things. Saw things go on with me. Saw things happen to me uh, with my physical health and with my emotional and my mental health. Then I realized I had to. I realized that I had to shift. I had to shift my mindset. I had to shift my way of thinking. I had to shift how I handle myself physically. And yes, your shift. The other question that you want to ask yourself is your shift negative or positive? If you see your shifting going in a negative direction, then you need to course correct. You need to figure out what's going on, and you need to course correct. If your shift is going in a positive direction, continue on the path. Continue on that phase of your life, on that shifting phase of your life. But also recognize when it becomes negative, or when it becomes negative, and then be present in your mind enough to course correct. So shifts can be negative, it can be positive. It is up to the individual to recognize when it is negative and when it is negative, or when it is positive, and take action appropriately. The second one I want to hit you guys with, and this is one that I think that a lot of people are probably gonna have a lot of questions about, but I don't think there's good may have some questions about, but at the same time, I want to throw it out there anyway. Yep. Yes, sir, Mr. Derek. Maturation is a determining factor. If you recognize when you have shifted or when you need to shift, and you will know when you've shifted, right? You'll know when you shifted because your attitude and your outlook is different. The way you see stuff is different. Certain things that used to bother you don't bother you. Certain things that used to irritate you don't irritate you. Certain behaviors that you had adopted and molded into your life, you just don't do anymore. So yeah, maturation is that determining factor. Yeah, quit. True. Some do not look in the mirror. But it's important that you do look in the mirror to recognize the change, recognize whatever changes have happened. Because regardless of anything, we we as human beings change. Whether anybody wants to acknowledge that or not, we as human beings change. Our mindsets change, our thought processes change, our perspectives change, our our appearances change. Um, all these things change. There's no one thing with us that is committed to permanence, because we all change, and we all change at one point or at one point or another in our life. We're always changing and maturing and growing. Um, so it is important to look into the mirror to see this, to see the changes. And I'm not saying physical changes. We What I'm talking with, because physical changes are good too, but when I talk about the changes I'm talking about are always inward. If you want to know if you want to know if you're a changed person or a changed man or a changed woman, you only need to look inward. Because like I said, certain things don't bother you no more. Certain things don't irritate you. Certain thought processes and ways of thinking you don't engage in anymore. So it does quit. It does. It does start with your mindset. The one thing that I will say, um, this is a saying that I heard from um a pastor that I went that I whose church I went to in Florida. And it's a very simple thing. No mind change, no life change. Basically, it states it is very simple. If you don't change your mind, you cannot change your life. If you don't change your mindset, then you'll never change your life, or you'll never change your lifestyle. So it's real simple. No mind change, no life change. The second tenet that I want to throw out here, and I'm going to throw this in the comments as well, is a question I think we all need to ask ourselves at one point or another. Is it you? To make this more personal to me, is it me? Are you the one that's holding you back? To make it more personal to me, am I the one that's holding me back? Ask yourself that question. Are you holding yourself back? Are you keeping yourself are you keeping yourself from elevation? Are you keeping yourself from promotion? Are you keeping yourself from um, are you keeping yourself from success? Are you keeping yourself from enjoying the life that you want to live? Are you keeping yourself from you? Yep. To put it to quit. Yes, ma'am, Miss Quit. Yes, ma'am, quit. To put it quite bluntly, are you in your own way? If you answered yes to that question, then there's something you need to do. You need to do a deep dive into yourself. Why are you in your own way? Because I've answered yes to that question on more than one occasion. Why am I in my own way? Why do I constantly keep putting up roadblocks for myself that prevent me from moving on to the next level, or that prevent me from moving on to the next thing? Why do I put those roadblocks in the way? Yep. What separates us from achieving our goals? What is it that we fear? What is it that we're most afraid of? What is it that what is it about ourselves? What is it about ourselves that what is it about ourselves? And again, making this more personal to me, what is it about me that I do not like? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. If you answered yes to you being in your own way, if you answered answered the question of what is separating you from what is keeping you from achieving your goals, if you answered yourself what is it that you fear, there's a deep dive to that. And I think Quit said something really said all three of these things Quit said is really good. And I most definitely want to attack each one of these things that she mentioned because it ties into is it you? It also ties into recentering, how we should recenter, how important it is to recognize this when we are recentering ourselves. Why are you stagnant? So the first question, are you in your own way? If you answer yes to that question, you need to find out what it is, what roadblocks are you putting up for yourself that continuously puts you in your own way. What roadblocks are or what roadblocks, what roadblocks are you throwing up to yourself? Why are you preventing yourself from moving forward? Why, and again, making it more personal to me, but you can ask yourself the same question. Why am I always throwing these roadblocks in the way? What is going on with me that I'm always throwing up roadblocks? Is it a confidence factor? For me, yes, it is a confidence factor or a confidence issue. Is it a confidence issue? Yes, it is a confidence issue. Because for a long time, I didn't walk in confidence. Again, making this personal to me, but also, excuse me, want to make it so that everyone that's listening and watching can understand where I'm coming from. And these are questions you can ask yourself. For me, yeah, it's a confidence problem. It's a confidence issue. I've never been an arrogant person, but I've never been that much of a confident person either. And that is just because of my own personal experiences with confidence. And that is something that I'm working very hard at. Excuse me. I have to learn to be more confident in being a CEO of a platform. I need to be more confident in be more confident in being the best man that I know I can be. I need to be more confident in being a a better parent to my children. I need to be more confident in being a better son. I need to be better in all these things. And the other question is something that Quinn asked: why is it do we lack confidence? More personable to me. Why is it that I lack confidence? To be honest with you, I don't know. However, I think it does stem from when I did something to the best of my ability, or did something I felt was good, and it was always shot down, and it was always shot down at when I was shot down, or something to that nature, and it got to a point to where I did not want to ever present that again, or was I didn't feel good about it, or felt confident in doing it again. So it's also for me the confidence issue is something that I'm working on tirelessly. And when I mean tirelessly. What is separating you from achieving your goals? A lack of confidence can separate you from your goals. That's one thing that can separate you from your goals. A complete lack of confidence can separate you from your goals. Not recognizing what your true goals are can separate you from achieving your goals. Not really understanding your purpose can separate you from your goals. Lack of understanding in your purpose can separate you from your goals. I could the list of that could go so on and so on. Hey Simone, how you doing, sweetheart? The list of things I could mention when it comes to what separates us from our goals, achieving our goals could go. I could go on forever. I won't say forever, but I could go on for quite a while. Lack of finances could separate us from achieving our can separate us from achieving our goals. Lack of resources, lack of proper resources can separate us from achieving our goals. And I'm not to say that I'm not and I'm not to say and I'm not gonna say that all these are excuses because honestly, they're not there. Honestly, they are not. Because some of the things I mentioned can be easily rectified. And infusion of money can solve the lack of money. Working on your confidence can help you get big. Working on your confidence can help you achieve the goals that you want, that you need, that you're looking to achieve. The other thing is what separates us from achieving our goals is being stagnant, being very very stagnant can do that as well. And that is something that stagnation can stagnation is a, to me stagnation is the destroyer of dreams. Stagnation is a destroyer of hopes and everything of that nature. When you are stagnant, you are just in one place and you're not going anywhere. Lack of forward movement can keep you from achieving your hopes and can keep you from achieving your goals. If you're not moving forward, you're not making progress. Stagnation is literally a lack of progress or a lack of forward movement. Sometimes when we get stagnant, it's because that we've tried everything that we tried everything that we want, that we've felt that we needed to try, and it still doesn't work. Yep. Yes, sir. A lack of failure can hinder you from building. Yes, it is. It that can have that can be a thing. That is Derek. That is a thing. That is truly a thing, brother. That is truly a thing. And the reason I say that is because when someone's so used to success, when someone's so used to success, they don't experience failure, or if they do experience it, they experience it at a very incremental amount, a very small amount, and they don't experience failure in a larger level, at a larger level. In the in order for us to fail, we have to try, right? But what what if we don't try? What if we don't take that chance? What if we don't jump into that pool feet first instead of head first, right? A lack of failure can kill your confidence, because can kill your confidence because like I said, you can't fail if you don't try. You can't succeed, you can't fail, you can't succeed if you don't fail. And for some people that's where, and Derek, it it ties right into what I mean by stagnation too. Because when you don't try, or you don't make an attempt to try, that's when you become stagnant. and you're stagnant, and then on top of that, you become stagnant, and and you're stuck in the same place, and you can't experience the one thing that can help you. And believe it or not, people, failure is an excellent teacher. To failure is a excellent teacher. It imparts life lessons to you. It tells you, all right, Fred, we tried that and that didn't succeed. So what's next? Are you going to try again, or are you going to approach it differently? So failure is an excellent teacher. Failure to me is the greatest teacher, because it teaches us. It teaches me. It allows me to see what worked, and what did not work. But it also gives me the opportunity to make a change in my strategy, make a change in how I attack a problem, or how I deal with a situation. Yes, yes, and yes, yes, and yes. Is that failure allows us to remember, and when we remember, just like you said there, we can be confident in moving forward, because now when we attack that problem, we know exactly what not to do. We know exactly how not to attack that problem. We know exactly how not to approach it, because it's a different thing. Because now it's a different thing. We failed. We tried it that way. Okay, that don't work. All right, let's try now. Let's now that we've had a chance to mull it over, look at it from every possible angle that we can look at it from. All right, let's eliminate what didn't work, and let's try something different. And if it fails again, if it fails again, we're not as dejected as we were initially, because now we have confidence to know, okay, that didn't work either. Let's try it again. And as we keep trying it, as we keep failing, as we learn things from each failure. It is something. It's always a different thing from each failure that we experience. But like I said, failure is not a bad thing. It's actually the best. It's actually a very great tool to help us learn, to help us understand. Okay, okay, Fred, that didn't work. That didn't work this time. Try it this way. Try it this way this time. And I think, the other thing that I want to attack while I quit while that quit through up here. What is it that we fear? What it think about think I want you guys to think about this for a second. What is it that you are afraid of? What is it that that what is it that literally freezes you that literally freezes you in your tracks or in your place? What is it that you most that what is it that you most what is it that you innately fear? Me personally, it's always been a fear of failure. It's always been a fear of not being accepted. It's always a fear of me not being better, good enough, or strong enough, or those types of things. So I've always had that fear of not being great enough for whatever situation I stand myself up to. One thing I will say about fear is that, and if anybody's watched the movie Dude, Paul Atreides said this on more than one occasion. You know, I will not fear. Fear is a mind killer. And honestly, it is a mind killer. It is a small death that consumes us all. But how do we mitigate that? How do we mitigate that fear? First of all, by acknowledging that it is present, that it is there, but never answering to it. The way that I approach certain things, especially when it's something that I know that I'm afraid of, and this is something that I've recently just applied. And this may come with varying degrees of success and failure. You know, I do allow that fear to pass through and pass over me because regardless of what it is, I'm already afraid. There's no sense in I myself by telling myself I'm afraid. I acknowledge that I'm afraid, but there's no sense in simply trying to be like trying to fight that. May as well just let it pass through it. May as well just let it pass over you and pass through you. And that could be with certain levels of success and or failure. It depends on the person. Um, and my sister Quit just came up here, so I know she got something she want to add to that.
So, hey, I was typing and I was over it. So I decided to come up here. But I think having low self esteem, lacking confidence, and fear, it goes hand in hand. If you lack confidence, you're going to fear success.
Oh
You're
yeah.
going to fear achieving your goals. You're going to fear. All of this stems from the lack of confidence. And how
Yep.
do we counteract this? We counteract it with faith. If you're trusting God and you're knowing that He's the provider, you're knowing that He's not gonna go let you go lacking. Even if you don't have enough, you have favor, and your gift makes room for you. So you have to walk by faith and not by sight. You cannot worry about your circumstances. You cannot worry about what you don't have because he said he's not going to let you go lacking for any good thing. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's all in
Yep.
your mind. So you hinder yourself, you paralyze yourself because of this thing that's not real. Why do
Yeah.
you lack confidence? You have to get to the root of the issue.
Yeah.
It's
For sure.
not it okay, people tell you you're never going to be anything.
Yep.
You don't have to respond to that. You don't have to answer to that. All of that is labels. You validate yourself. How do you validate yourself? Through the word, through affirmations, through letting you know, look, I'm going to achieve everything that God said I'm going to achieve. Why? You speak it into existence
That's it.
because He's my provider, because I am His masterpiece, because I am fearfully, wonderfully made, because
That's it.
He has everything. And I'm a child of the King. So I'm an heir of God. So I'm supposed to have everything that I put my hands to. Everything that I put my hands to is supposed to prosper. Failure, you fail by not doing. I don't like the word try. I tell you all the time. Try is a cop out because a lot of people say I'm trying and they're procrastinating. I'm sitting here waiting on the Lord. But in your wait, you're supposed to move and make preparation. But you sitting there and you laying in your bed and you expecting something to fall through the ceiling for you to achieve your goal. What are you preparing for? Something as simple as a car. You want a Range Rover, but you don't got a driveway to put it in. You want a house, but you're not preparing your credit.
That's it.
Women want a husband, but they're not a wife. You're a wife before you get married. You have to make preparation for the things that you want. You won't keep your house clean, your apartment clean, but you want God to bless you with a house and you only got a 1 bedroom apartment. Wait, you have to be a good steward.
Yeah, you do. You do.
You want finances, but you don't have a good relationship with it. So, what's going to happen? The more that you have, the more you're going to need because you're going to keep losing it. You're going to keep spending it.
Yep.
And you're spending it and you still got bills. Your bills are not paid off. You're spending, you're buying clothes, the kids need this, the kids need that, but you're not prioritizing.
Nope. And that's the problem. That's the
So
problem.
that's where the lack of confidence come in. Oh, I don't got no money in my pocket. You spent it.
You did. And you chose to spend it. And it boils down to choice.
I don't feel like a man because I don't have this. You don't have it because of you. And then a lot of times we hold on to stuff. So we hold in grudges and we didn't forgive ourselves for doing ourselves wrong.
Ooh we.
So that's a whole nother issue that we have. We carrying all this stuff. We walking in hurt. We walking in pain. We repressing things. And you cannot prosper and you're holding grudges against people. God said to love your enemies, pray for your enemies.
Yep.
He
Sure
gonna
did.
take care of them. So why you worried about what they did in the past? You can't change it. Why you worried about if you get an apology or I have questions? But every answer, you're gonna have another question. So it's never
That's it.
gonna be enough. So why
That's
are
it.
you dwelling on it?
No need to, because when you dwell on it, all you're doing is just putting yourself in a better in a less advantageous position anyway.
Exactly.
Why
Exactly.
why worry about stuff you have no control over?
Exactly.
Control what you can control. And I'm not gonna say be cavalier and let the chips fall where they may, but you can only control the things that you can control.
When
You
you
can
This
control
is
your
my
attitude. You
thing.
can control your responses.
Yes, definite. And a response and a reaction is two different things.
Whew. Say that again. Say that again. Say that one
Listen,
more time. Because I don't
listen.
think they heard you back there.
A response and a reaction is two different things. When you respond, you take time to think first, and then you respond. But when you
Right.
react, it's involuntarily. So
Exactly. For
you just
sure.
react. Whatever
Yep.
happens at that moment happens. Whatever said at that moment is said.
And I think when we react, it is just like, ugh. When we react, sometimes our reaction to what it is like not the most graceful reaction,
It's
not the most intelligent reaction.
exactly.
And the one thing that you mentioned that I know you're gonna mention this, but I want to go and put this out here now, is that we don't give ourselves enough grace.
That's right.
To answer the question, is it you should also ask yourself, are you giving yourself grace?
That's right.
If you're not giving yourself grace, that is a problem, because we all need to as we give each other grace, we also have a responsibility to give ourselves the same grace,
That's right.
because we're all human beings and we all fall short.
That's right.
Falling short doesn't mean that you're a failure, or that you just didn't get to whatever pinnacle you were looking to do was get to. It just means you just didn't get to where you wanted to go. That's not a death sentence, as some people put it. Some people like to call it as such. It's not a death sentence. Give yourself grace to be able to say, okay, that didn't work, and move forward.
But this is the thing. When I look at falling short, I look at it as my practice run. Okay. So I set this goal and I had this plan.
Right,
How I went to implement this plan, it didn't work that way. So maybe I need to regroup. The goal is still the end goal,
right,
but I need to strategize a little bit different. And I need to go about it a different way and find out, okay, well, I did it this way and this part over here didn't work. So I
right.
need to change this part and do it this way, and I'm going to get to my destination.
Oh
Or
yeah, for sure.
what distracted me during that time? So if this distracted me, okay, I was supposed to get to the store, but I got this phone call and I got distracted and the store closed. Why
Right.
didn't I say, hey, listen, I have to make my way to the store because there's some important things that I have to get and I have to get them tonight. So I'm going to talk to you later. And I don't want to be on the phone in the store because I ain't going to remember what I need to get and go achieve my goal.
Yep, for sure. Oh
Because
yeah.
that conversation, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't about anything, but it was your
What they important.
distractor. So you had to prioritize what was more important.
That's it. And I think when we talk about when we ask the question, is it you? Or and again, you can make it personal to you, personal to yourself. You have to look at the things that's being touched upon. Do you lack confidence? Are you stagnant? Are you that roadblock that's keeping you from your goal, keeping you from achieving your goals?
Do you lack time management?
Yep.
What is it?
What the hell are you afraid of? Why are you afraid? And those two questions go hand in hand anyway, because the answers are going to be the same. Because people can say they're afraid of something, but don't know why they're afraid.
Right. But once we recognize that we are responsible for us, my mother used to always say, listen, a child could get away with saying, I don't know. But as an adult,
Nope.
you cannot get away with that. You
You sure
have
can.
to say, okay, I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to get the answer and get right back to you. You may not have it at that moment, but you need to figure that thing out.
You
And
do.
that's what you need to do with your life.
You do.
Why? What is the root of my fear? What happened that triggered me? Am I going to go to hell because I'm holding a grudge and this person is already gone off this earth? Am I going to go to hell because of this trauma that happened and I just can't let it go because I don't want to walk in forgiveness? Forgiveness is not for the other person,
It is
it's
not.
for me, it's for you.
That's it.
You give the thing power over your life when you hold on to it.
You
It
do.
paralyzes you, it keeps you in a place that you cannot move from. Why? Is that how your life is going to be? So now you're taking out this resentment, this frustration, this attitude, this bad demeanor on your loved ones. And they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? I didn't do anything. What you mad at?
Yep.
Why your attitude change? Why can't we ever enjoy ourselves when we go somewhere without it being some type of drama? Why? Because you're triggered from your past and you're comparing it to your present and your future.
That's it.
So whoever that you're with now is paying the price and they wasn't even there.
Nope. Exactly. They weren't present for none of that.
And you're not responsible for their healing unless you did it. So,
Unless you did it.
unless you did it, you cannot, you're not God. You can help to push them into their healing, but you cannot heal a person. You can change the way you handle them and be more sensitive and caring to their need, but you cannot heal a person.
That's it.
And two broken people do not make a whole. I promise you. Broken plus broken equals broken.
More broken.
It does not make a whole.
Nah,
And you're going to continue to hinder each other.
that's it.
So you need to determine, I don't even know why we got on relationship, but you need to
Ah,
determine if you should even be in that. And you need to have a courage to walk away because you being in that could be what's holding you back from getting to where you need to be.
but it plays into the question: is it you,
Is it you?
or did you engage in something that you shouldn't have engaged in?
Exactly. Are you scared of being alone? Are you scared of getting to know yourself? Do you know
Hell,
what you actually like and what you'll tolerate?
hell, do you like yourself?
Do you love yourself? And you know what's funny? I I use this when I coach people when I'm dealing with them to figure out if they know themselves. I'll say, go to a restaurant by yourself and just buy yourself dinner. And then when you come back to me, let me know if you was comfortable sitting in that restaurant by yourself. Cuz sitting in a restaurant by yourself and feeling comfortable is hard to do. But do I do it? Often. I did it today. I had some an appointment and I was an hour early. I seen a pizza place. I went in. I ordered some pizza. They say you dining in? Absolutely. You can bring it to my table right there.
Wow.
And I sat down and I enjoyed my pizza. And when I was done, I went across the street to my interview. And I was good. No problem.
Wow.
Like every other week. Whatever restaurant I want to go sit in, I'm going to go sit in and I'm going to enjoy me.
There you go. That's it.
So,
And like we're talking about this question: is it you?
is it you?
Ask yourself: is it you? Don't simply be like, nah, it ain't me. But because honestly speaking, to be honest with you, it is you. Because I can say that now. I can say that with confidence. It's in all instances to where there's there's been a lack of confidence, there's been a fear of failure, all those things. It's That's me.
But when do you get out your own way? If you recognize that it's you, when do you move forward and say it's no longer going to be me?
That's where wholesale adjustments have to be made. That's where you have to be. That's when you know you let that's that deep dive. That's that deep dive into yourself and say and looking at yourself and saying, hey, this ain't what it's supposed to be. We're better. You're better. We're better than that.
Hmm.
You're better. I'm better than that.
Right.
I'm better than the continued failures. I'm better than what they're better. I'm better than the things that I'm afraid that paralyze me with fear.
Hmm.
And you have to. And it comes to that point to being able to acknowledge that part of it. Because I think when we do acknowledge that part of it, those parts of it, should I say, that's when we start to remove ourselves. That's when we start to say, "Hey, well, I'm not in my own way no more. It's cool." So and certain things that we deal with don't hurt as much, or better yet, failing doesn't feel like a death sentence.
Right. Let me tell you how I got to the point of where I am today. I recognize that my pain had a purpose, but my anointing is greater than my pain. If I didn't go through the things that I went through, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't have the things that I have today. I wouldn't have the thought process that I have today, and nor would I have the spiritual life that I have. So you
There
have
you
to
go.
recognize that some of the thorns that are in your flesh are meant to be there. They're there for a purpose. They're there to push you into your next level so that you will know how to handle somebody, or how to handle that business, or how to handle that next book, or how to coach that next person, and how to identify with that person that's going through what you already been through, but you came out.
Right.
So when you get to the point of this happened for a reason, you no longer hold on to why did this happen to me? I can't stand the person that did this to me. I'm going to get that. No. Your mindset becomes the battle don't belong to me. It's God's. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and I will repay them. Have mercy on them, O God, because I know, and no weapon that's formed against me shall prosper, but they know not what they do. So please have mercy on them, because I realize what's about to take place. I pray that you bless them. I pray that you turn their heart back to you, that they fall to their knees and that they repent to you. It ain't about me. Have grace and mercy over their life and show them favor.
Right.
That was the point. Even when I prayed for the woman that was sleeping with my husband, that was the point where I was like, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. Because you know my will is not of you. So not my will, but your will. Because I'm still flesh.
That's it. That's it.
So increase in me as I decrease. And I speak over the things that you tell me to speak. Don't let it be any of me. Because
Exactly.
me want to take her and hang her up here. Whereas you love her. So I'm going to walk in obedience, and I'm going to do what you're calling me to do, and I'm going to say what you're telling me to say in this moment. No, we're not friends. We will never be friends. But
Nope.
my obedience is everything. And there's a journey because, like he said, there's none perfect but the Father. But I could recognize when I'm wrong and repent and keep moving,
That's it.
and not keep repenting for the same thing. That's where maturity comes in. Why am I going to keep repenting for the same thing? Now I'm walking in iniquity. I
Boy.
got to go to the altar because I done knocked this person out, and then turn around next week and knock somebody else out and got to go back to the altar. No. Self control. Like they said, discipline is so important. Being obedient,
Gotta be, man. You gotta be.
allowing God to take control.
That's it. That's it. That's all you can say about that one, really. So this third one that I'm gonna talk about will probably turn some heads, but we gotta talk about it. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta put it. We gotta talk about it. We gotta put it in some form of perspective. Just threw it in the comments, y'all.
Mm.
A thorough evaluation of your connections. Looking at the people that you're connected to. Do they have a value? Do they value the connection? Do you value the connection? And when I say evaluate your connections, I don't mean evaluate them on just the merits alone. If there are merits to evaluate it upon, evaluate it on the intrinsic value that it brings to you. Is it a meaningful connection? Does this connection is this a helpful connection? And better yet, is that connection reciprocal on both ends? So I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna probably make a lot. I won't even, you know what? I don't even care. I personally have connections with a lot of people, and I'm not saying that to brag or anything like that. I'm saying that because I think that's something I think that's one thing we all could all say we have connections to a lot of people. The question that you need to ask yourself when it comes to these people that you're connected to, are they truly connected to you? Do these people do these people have your best interest and in mind and in heart when they interact with you? And do you have their best interest in mind and at heart when you interact with them? Is there a feeling of camaraderie there? Is there a feeling of help there? Does this person does are you guys collaborate are you guys in collaboration with each other and not competition with each other? Does that person does the person you're connected with, do they value your opinion? Do you value the person you're connected with opinion? If you answer no to a whole bunch of those questions, then that person isn't connected to you. And they are connected to you, but they're connected to you for reasons that are normally not benevolent. Most people will connect to you for benevolent reasons, but then you also have people that connect to you for malicious reasons. And you're gonna have to separate the wheat from the chaff with when it comes to that, because you're gonna have to be able to discern who's with you and who's not with you.
But can I say something with that? When it comes to,
Yep,
you heard the saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
of
Just
course.
just like the Lord didn't throw his Judas away.
Yep,
Sometimes we have to keep our enemies close, and you just be two steps ahead of their move. You recognize who they are, but you don't have to throw them away that quick.
ha, I like that. I like that because it does take me back to something that DMX said. You know, trust people to be who they are to you.
Hmm.
Trust a snake to bite. Trust trust a
Exactly.
dog to bark.
Hmm. That's right. And then people say, well, you got trust issues. No, I trust that you're going to be exactly who you're going to be. If you're going to be a gossiper, you're going to be a gossiper. If you're going to be a thief, you're going to be a thief. If you're going to be a liar, you're going to be a liar. If you're going to talk about me, you're going to talk about me. I know exactly who you are. And I'm
Yep,
okay with that.
yep, and
Until the Lord tell me to move you, I'm going to keep you right in your respective place.
yep. And I think some of us kind of are quick to kind of toss people out without truly evaluating them and just saying, well, they are who they are. Yeah. And then people will ask you, well, why haven't you got rid of them?
Why?
I ain't been told to.
Exactly.
God ain't instructed me to lead to tell them to get going.
Mm-mm. And he will move them when he's ready to. They'll fall off on their own, and that's okay.
Yep. And I've said this on so many occasions, y'all. People will get on your bus and ride ride on your bus. When they get off at their designated, they get off at their designated stop. Don't be mad.
Mm-mm.
That's the stop they're supposed to get off for.
Exactly.
Don't be mad when they did. Don't be mad when they get off at a whatever stop there is. Don't be mad. Don't be upset when people disconnect from you.
Hmm.
Or
Exactly.
don't be upset when you disconnect from people.
They serve their purpose. So everybody is not lifelong. You just have to recognize who that lifelong friend is, or brother, or sister, and who is seasonal.
That's it.
And if they're seasonal, what's their purpose for that season?
Seasonal people cannot fill a lifetime role.
Exactly. So were they there for me to impart into them, or were they supposed to impart something into me?
Exactly.
What
That's where you evaluate
was
it
I
at.
supposed to learn in that season? Because everything is a learning opportunity, and
Every
everything that you do is sowing a seed.
that's it. You
And
know,
there's a
that's
consequence behind what you do and how you do it.
always,
So is your
always.
seed going to flourish, or is your seed cursed?
Yeah. You have to be mindful of who you allow to impart in you.
Exactly.
Because people that are connected to you can get you can get bad advice from people that are connected to you.
Hmm. That's right. But the Lord also said the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. And
That's
wealth
it.
is not just finances. It
Wealth
could
is
be the
also
knowledge. It could be some experience. It
that's it.
it could be so many things. What is the wealth that you need in that moment? And how did they play that part?
That's it.
How did it benefit you?
Yeah. And I think when we talk about people that are connected, I think we're so want to, you know, be mad at people when they disconnect from us. Be upset when they disconnect from us because we thought that this was a connection. We thought that there was a connection that was supposed that was a real connection and things of that nature.
Hmm.
And that is a natural reaction to a disconnection, but a true God ordained divine connection is one that is true. For again, that is first of all ordained by God. Number one,
Hmm.
let's put that out there right now. A true divine connection is one that's ordained by God. Number two, it stands up to the test of time and adversity.
That's right.
Last but not least, a true divine connection is one that doesn't have an expiration date.
That's right.
If someone's truly connected to you, those three requirements are already met off top.
Hmm.
If one of those three ain't if one of those three are met, then that's a problem. If two of the three are met, that's still a problem. All three of those have to be satisfied for
And
that to for
recognize you don't have to speak to your divine connections on a daily basis,
no.
because regardless, you know they're still praying for you. You know
They
they're still
understand.
supporting you. You know when you pick up the phone, they're right there.
They
Like,
understand.
exactly. Exactly.
And the one thing that I won't say obsess over, or I may not. That's subject to interpretation at the moment. You know, people that are truly connected to you support you regardless.
Hmm.
It is not, and people think that support is a monetary transaction. It is not.
Mm-mm.
You don't got you if you support me. If you don't have money to support me, then there's this thing called digital currency,
Hmm.
a like, a share, um, a repost. That's that's just as valuable as giving somebody money.
Hmm.
The one thing that I can say about um, Simone, she is president accounted for, regardless of who's up here,
Hmm. That's right.
and she truly supports. It ain't just Quentin Coco that she supports. She also supports LHG. She also supports me. So
Hmm.
she supports irrespective of who's here, who's present.
Hmm.
A true connection is does that.
That's right.
They gonna support you irrespective of the mistakes you make or the flaws that you have. They don't care about that. They just want to see you prosper. They just want to
That's
see you
it.
succeed.
That's it. Right there.
And it's supposed to be reciprocal. And I think a lot of these connections. I think a lot of again what I guess that I'm analyzing my own connections to people. I think a lot of these connections that I have are one way streets. And well, there's going I there you have I'm gonna have to start I'm gonna start cutting the fat away. Because if it's not a beneficial connection, then I don't need it, nor do I want it. And this is probably gonna offend a few people, but that's fine. If I genuinely support you, I genuinely support you. I don't have to put I don't have to I don't have to put money in your hand to support you. I know digital currency has value too. So for me and for anybody that's listening to me, you have to evaluate your connections to people. And again, you don't evaluate them just on the merits alone. You evaluate them based upon how they're connected to you, why they're connected to you. Is there a benefit for them to be connected to you? And you have to look at it from the opposite end of that too. Because again, connections are always a two-way thing. Someone can be connected to you because of what they heard you say, or was something that you did, or better yet, something some people can be connected to you and you not even know that they're connected to you. Maybe they just were exposed to you in for a short period of time, for maybe a few minutes, and that's a person that's connected to you. You have to be wary of who you, but you also have to be not wary, but aware of the people that are connected to you, because people that are people, and I'm saying this in general. I'm not saying this to any one person, but people can and will be leeches. People can and will be leeches. There are people out here that will suck your energy, and will leave you a dried up husk. You have to be aware of people who are leeches. You have to be present. You have to be aware of people who are energy leeches. People that are gonna suck your energy, suck every last bit of energy from you. People that want to take that put unreal demands upon your time. Be aware of those type of people, because those people mean you all kinds of harm and nothing good. Be aware, be present, be aware. And like I said, people that are truly connected to you are always going to be present. You don't have to ask them if they're going to be there. You don't have to ask them if they're going to be there. They're there. You don't got to ask them if they gonna show up for you. They gonna show up. And 90% and 99% out of 100, they gonna show out. People that truly support you. It doesn't matter whether you go through your ups, your downs, your middle, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're gonna be there for you, irrespective of what you do and where you are. And they're always gonna want to be. They're always gonna put a hand out to you, a hand up for you, not a hand out, but a hand up. They want to see you succeed. And again, it should be reciprocal. If you're connected to somebody and they are like this to you, you should return that same energy.
And can I say, people that are connected to you are not yes people. They're going to tell
Exactly.
you when you're right. They're going to tell you when you're wrong. But they're going to allow you to walk out your process. And even when you're going through something, they feel that.
Yep.
So they don't want to see you walk out something that's negative. However, they're going to support your decision and allow you to walk it out.
That's it.
Now, can
Pe-
you handle it when they say, hey, yo, bro, this
Chill
right
out.
here, yeah, what you doing right now, this ain't it.
Nope. Exactly. And you have to be able to deal with that, handle that. Someone that's truly connected to you will hold you to accountability.
Yes.
And if you're truly connected with somebody, you should hold them to accountability as well. If you can't hold, if neither one of y'all can hold each other to account, then there's no connect. First of all, there's no connection. Anybody that's worth their salt, that's truly connected to you, will hold you to the rug for for things you do, and will call you out for it.
And you don't have to come across in a nasty way, because there's plenty of times I'd be like, "Yo, bro, I
Chill
need
out.
I need to talk. We
Yep.
need to talk."
Yep.
You'd be like, "What I'm in trouble for now?"
Exactly. Exactly. Better yet, man. Hey, look, we got to talk about this thing right here because this don't sit right with me.
Right.
Or better yet, and that's what people that are truly connected to you will do for you. Will do. They'll be like, hey man, we need to talk. I saw something that I didn't like,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to talk about that. Or better yet, I can say, hey Q, nah, you acting like a Quintus now. We need to put that. You need to tell her to kind of pipe down.
Go sit down somewhere.
You tell Quintus to have several seats. But that's what people that are truly connected to you will do. That they'll do that. They'll say that, they'll say it unapologetically, but
Mhm.
also they'll say it respectfully because
Exactly.
because they value your time and your effort.
Hmm.
But they also value how you feel, but they don't mind hurting your feelings.
So true.
Someone that's truly connected to you does not mind hurting your feelings. I'm serious. I
It's
mean,
true.
they don't mind hurting your feelings. Like, dude, you hurt my feelings. Hey, look here. I apologize.
But
This had to be said.
I meant what I said.
Said.
I probably could have said it a little bit different, but I
Nicer.
meant what I
I said
said. So I'm not apologizing for what I said. I apologize if you got offended, but I meant what I said.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of we take offense to that. Like, well, you could have said that a different way. Well, it came out the way it came out. Sorry that it came out that way. I mean,
And I remember the first time when we first started got connected, and you was like, "You are the only person that has ever talked to me this way." I said, "I am who I am."
it ain't been a problem. It hasn't been a problem for me.
And it didn't change either.
It ain't been a problem for me because I'm like, okay, she gonna say what she gonna say. I'm either like it or like it.
Right. More or less. You don't gotta like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's either like it or like it. That's the way I look at certain things because I mean, with someone that has your that can see things for a little further out than you can,
Hmm.
and they say that, well, nah, you need to go that direction there, bro. That's a one way street that's gonna turn to a dead end. You might want to course correct real quick. But yeah, true. And look, I'm gonna wrap this part up. I mean, you just have to evaluate who you're connected to because people that are truly connected to you are not afraid to call you out or not afraid to compliment you or give you words of encouragement. Someone that's truly connected to you will do that. Someone that's not truly connected to you is probably looking to either to do something malicious to you or they're looking for a handout.
Hmm. Pretty much.
Like I said, I know a lot of people. There are a lot of people that I'm connected to, but I'll say this: there are a lot of people that I'm connected to, but there are only a few people that I'm truly connected to.
Hmm.
And what I mean truly connected to, I mean I can call this person I can call this person at midnight and they'll pick up the phone and we can chat.
Hmm.
So there are people. So I'm connected to a lot of people there, but there are only a few people that I'm truly connected to. And honestly speaking, those people that I am truly connected to, I actually can count on two hands.
Yeah, you don't need a lot.
Two hands only.
Hmm.
People say you shouldn't have your circle shouldn't be small. Well, that's fine. That's all well and good. But I think when you're truly connected to people, to certain people, your circle is small by design.
Hmm. That's true.
Like I said, the people that I'm truly connected to, two hands.
Hmm.
Everybody else, I'm connected to y'all. I'm connected to them. That doesn't mean that I don't that doesn't mean that I don't won't treat anybody that I'm connected to any differently, because of course I will still support them. But I will support them of my own volition, knowing that it's not knowing that in some instances it won't be reciprocal. But I'm doing my part as a human being, and I don't worry about whether or not they return the favor or not, because at that point it is what it is. I'm doing my part to be supportive of them. They don't have to return. They don't have to return that. I know the 10 people that I'm truly connected to will do that regardless.
Exactly. They see the need and they meet it if
Yep.
they're if it's in their ability to do.
Every day, all day. Every day, all day. So evaluate your connections, y'all. I know that I know personally for me, I've done that. I've evaluated my connections.
Hmm.
And again, I'm not judging them based on the merits alone. I'm just
Hmm.
judging them based upon I'm judging them based upon what they are to be, who they are to be, and is it a reciprocal thing?
Right.
But do I cut them off? Like Quinn said, no, don't cut them off. Why? God either God will remove them and
Hmm.
make them a non-factor,
That's right.
or they'll fall off on their own and make themselves a non-factor.
Exactly.
So evaluate your connections and look at the people who you're connected with.
And how do you evaluate your connections? Do they call you when you disappear? Do
Do they? Yep. Oh yeah. Do they call you when you disappear? When you fall
do
off the grid for a couple of months?
do they pray for you? Do they just shoot a text and say, "Hey, just checking on you"?
You know what? The better question is, Q. Do they pray for you instead of pray on you?
Ooh.
And we all know the difference
Mm-hmm.
between PRAY and PREY.
Yes, we do.
Do they pray for you instead of pray on you? Do they are they are will they hold you to account? Will they hold you accountable for your actions? Will they call you out on your BS?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't feel they don't fulfill those particular requirements, well, they ain't truly connected to you.
And then when they call you, is it just them complaining constantly every time you pick up the phone? This, and this happened. You can't get a word in edgewise.
Yep,
Are they draining to you?
yep.
I mean,
Do they take away your energy?
mhm,
Do they give back energy?
mhm,
Are they a replenisher? The people that don't replenish your energy, or that they don't speak positive into you, yeah, you don't need those. Those people are just like, or basically, Q is probably gonna laugh at me at this. Those are people that are basically cannon fodder. Those are ones you need to put in front of a firing squad. And I know that's a
I'm
mean
not.
I know that's a mean thing for me to say, but it's a true thing for me.
I'm not.
I know, but hey, but to me they are cannon fodder. It's
Frederick,
I'm gonna behave. I'm gonna behave. I'm gonna behave. I'm gonna behave. I'm gonna behave.
thank you.
I'm gonna behave. I'm sorry. So so I had five, but I think the fourth one the fourth one pretty much we pretty much talked about, really, because I think when we talked about is it you, I think we also talked about things that we need to do to pivot.
Mhm.
So we're not gonna deal with that one
Okay.
we touched on that one a whole lot.
Mhm.
However, this last one I think you gonna like. So
Okay.
I'm gonna let you see this, but then you probably gonna be like, "What do you mean by that?"
Okay.
So this last one, y'all, is something that came to my mind last night as I was writing these tenets down.
Fred, like his tenants, he a preacher.
Not really.
Pastor Fred.
No, ma'am. I do not consider myself that. So
Yes. Yes. I like
there,
that.
so there's going. I'm gonna have to, for those. I'm gonna have to explain this one to y'all because the way it was brought to me and the way I'm gonna present it are probably gonna be different. So when I say don't call it audible, let God run the play. So let's put this in terms that I think some people could understand, some people may not. But I'll try to explain this as the simplest way as I possibly can. So for those of us who watch football, there's this term that's called an audible. A quarterback can come to the line of scrimmage or where the offensive and defensive line meet. If he sees a mismatch or an advantage that he can exploit, the quarterback can call an audible. What an audible is a change of play from the originally called play. That means if the quarterback sees a mismatch that he can exploit or an advantage that he can exploit, he'll what they call audible out of the called play. The called play is what was called in the huddle. Now the audible is based upon what the quarterback sees. If there's something in the defense that he can exploit, or if there's a one or there's a mismatch he can exploit. So let's so now that you guys know what an audible is, what do I mean when I say don't call it audible and run the play guide gave you to run? What I mean by that is even though you see a mismatch that you could possibly exploit, even though you see an advantage that you could possibly take advantage of, run the play that God called. Why do I say that? Well, let's see. One simple phrase. It's gonna work.
Love it.
One simple phrase. It's gonna work. And now I'm gonna put it in terms that now that everybody can really understand. When we when God tells us to do something and we do it a different way, aka calling it audible, we mess up.
So let's break it down so a child can understand it. Don't deter from the original plan that God has given you.
Thank you, Q, because I think I would have stumbled over that one.
So, how He gave you the plan is how you move. Don't put your agenda in it, just keep it as His agenda, and He will guide you because
That's it.
He's going to take care of it. That's
That's
it.
it. God trust in the game plan that God gave you.
Exactly. And that's called faith.
Follow the game plan that God gave you. You there follow that game plan without any deviations, without any changes. Because what it at the end of the day, it's gonna work.
May I add, even if you don't understand it, follow the game plan?
Exactly. Even if you don't, yeah, exactly. Even if you don't understand what that game plan is, follow it anyway.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of people think that having these big blessings and all this stuff is kind of like the end all be all of it. But the question is, are you going to be happy with the smaller blessings that God gives you? To put it in football terms, Are you going to be satisfied with a 5 yard gain instead of a 60 yard bomb? Are you going to be satisfied with that? You have to be satisfied with the smaller gains to appreciate the larger ones.
Hmm. That's right. Don't despise small beginnings.
Are you gonna be happy if you don't gain a yard? Are you gonna be happy if you got to punt? Are you gonna be happy if God doesn't bless you right away with the things that you prayed for? Are you?
Absolutely. Because maybe you just wasn't ready for it at that moment. And maybe the Lord seen he went before you and he's like, okay, if I bless her with it now, she gonna lose it. Or she's not gonna take care of it. She's not ready for it. So I can't
Exactly.
bless her with it now. But a no is not, or a delay is not a denial.
Exactly. So, and to even amplify that even further, just as much as God says yes, God also can say no, or not, or better yet, not at this time.
Exactly.
Because not at this time does not mean no.
Hmm.
Not at this time means not at this time.
Exactly.
Are you going to be happy when things don't manifest the way they're supposed to at that particular point in time? Especially when you prayed and you cried out and things of that nature, and God says you ain't ready yet.
Right.
Are you going to be mad? Are you going to curse God and say, "Well, I was ready at this point in time," but like I said, God sees several several steps and several instances ahead. If you
Yeah.
if you were put in a position that you weren't ready for and you fail, well, that says a lot of that says a lot about doesn't say a lot of it says a lot about who you are. It doesn't say a lot about who you are as a person, but it does speak a lot to where your faith lies. Because if you know, if God put you in a place and you know you ain't ready for it, and then you fall short, it ain't because you didn't try. It ain't because you didn't put all the effort that you could put into it. It's because you didn't trust you didn't trust in the process.
But this is the thing. Sometimes, and I say this often, be careful what you pray for because you just might get it. So sometimes the Lord will give you your heart's desire because you keep asking him for it. This is what you want. He's gonna allow you to get it because it may be a lesson in the blessing.
Yep,
So he allow you to get that thing, and then it's like, how are you gonna handle it? Because you got it prematurely. So
exactly.
was it your time to get it at that moment? But you kept asking.
Yep.
And he said, knock, and the door will be open unto
Open.
you. Seek,
Yep.
and you shall find. So you knocking, you seeking, you
But you ain't,
praying for your heart's desire, but
and
you're
you
not
found it.
ready. You got it. Now you can't handle it. You're stressed out. Was it God that actually blessed you with it in that moment? Or did he want to test your faith? Because a faith
Yep.
that's not tested is not true.
That's it.
So you have to be careful. You'll know if you are ready for that thing.
Yep.
It's gonna flow.
Like
It's gonna come easy. You be like,
and
yo,
natural
you done
and
open this
naturally.
door and this door and this door. I'm
Yep.
not lacking for anything.
Exactly. Everything.
Actually, I got an overflow. When
Every
you reevaluate,
all the pieces fall in place,
mm-hmm,
just like clockwork, like clockwork, like clockwork. And understand that our timing isn't God's timing.
right.
You may ask for God to bless you right at this moment, but that thing you prayed for, you finally got your prayer answered 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why did it take so long? It didn't take it. It took long. It took long because that's how you did it. But it took long because that's how you interpret it. Our sense of time is God's sense of time is different from ours.
Yes, one day is like 1,000 years.
So don't be like don't be sitting there like you will. It took 3 months for me to get this prayer answered.
Did you
Nope.
see your face?
Yep. But was like 1,000 years. Yeah,
Yes.
it is. That's a long time. But if you but also understand that murmuring and complaining is not following the game plan.
Exactly.
You're not following the game plan to the letter. There's no to when you're on God's course track. There's no time for murmuring and complaining.
Hmm.
You don't have the luxury to do that.
Exactly.
So you don't have so murmuring and complaining should be out of the book. But we as Christian folks tend to do that because we want things to happen on our time but not God's time. And that
Hmm.
and but then when God asks, well, what happened to your faith?
Hmm.
And then we shrug our shoulders and we ain't got an answer for it. When God says, well, you ain't ready yet. Well, I tested your faith and you still ain't ready yet.
Hmm.
Just run the game plan like it's supposed, like it's been designed. Run the plays like it's designed, like they're designed. Now trust it now. I'll say this: trust and believe. Every once in a while, God will give you the opportunity to call an audible, but it's got to be something that both of you see. Got to be a mismatch that he sees as well as you see. It's got to be something that's going to be advantageous for both of y'all because for you because he has to see the mismatch and the disadvantage just like you have to see it. There's there's this thing that I like to call in concert togetherness. You know, we this relationship that we have with God is a two-way thing. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way thing.
Hmm.
You know, we you know everybody thinks that I don't know prayer is supposed to be this large and boisterous. Nah, man, conversation like just like me and you were talking.
Hmm.
Don't got to be nothing all drawn out and stuff like that. Oh, Heavenly Father, bruh. Hey God, it's me again.
That's it.
Or hey God, how you doing? It's me. I'm not asking you for anything, but I thank you for everything.
Hmm.
I thank you for preserving my life. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and be able to present things to people and talk to people. You know, I didn't want to ask you for nothing. I just want to thank you for everything.
Hmm.
Simple conversation, just
That's
like
it.
just like just like me and Q have it. You know, it's
But
they make it seem like this. It's this God, this big old grandiose thing. I have no idea why we even got on this. I know why we did. I know why we got toward this. But it's also but this is also the important part of how we recenter ourselves. That we understand that our relationship with God is two ways. Is a two-way street.
let me ask this: do we recognize when God is speaking to us?
Most of us do not. Most of us do not. That
And that
and I will
that
say
is
me included. In some instances.
that's so important because He'll talk to you in um the most, do I want to say inopportune times?
Yeah, you can.
When I got in my car one day, and I always pray before I drive my car. So this particular night, I was coming home from school,
Oh.
and I wasn't living here. I was actually living in Connecticut.
Ah,
So I was coming home from school, and I always went one way.
right.
But this particular night, he told me to go a different way. And I was like, Lord, why? This is easier for me to get home. Like, I
Exactly.
always go that way.
Right.
So I listened and I said, okay, God, I don't understand why, but I'm gonna follow what you're saying because obviously you see before me.
Uh-huh.
So I drove a different way. The next day, I was watching the news and I found out someone had got stabbed and killed at that same time that he told me to go the opposite way. And it was a
Wow.
young boy. So he was a teenager. So it was a bunch of people out there. The fight was going on while he was telling me. And I was like, wow, if I would have went that way,
Wow. So the result would have been a different result.
exactly, anything could have happened.
See,
Anything could have happened.
just like you said, do we know that it's God talking to us? Do we know that it's God having a conversation with us? Some of us do it, but most of us do it, some of us don't.
Right.
God can not only just speak to you personally, but he could also speak through people.
Mhm. Mhm. And when he comes to you, it's not gonna be him yelling at you. He gonna have a conversation with you. That first voice, that still small voice. I
That's
remember
the
I was in a restaurant and I was talking, and this mouth was going. I was with my first husband, and he told me, "Shut up."
be quiet.
No, he said, "Shut up," and I just
Wow.
put my head down. I didn't say nothing else for the rest of the night. I just ate my food.
Hold your tongue.
I just ate my food because I was just steady going. I said,
chill,
"Okay, God,
chill out.
I'm
Just
gonna shut up."
yeah.
When I
Now
say
you
I
in.
was scared,
Oh yeah.
whoo,
That quiet voice when they tell you to zip it.
I said, "Shut up." I
And
said, "Wow."
the funny thing about it is like, uh, and that is how God will come to you.
Hmm.
Not these, my child. I need you to just shut up.
Hmm.
I
And
need
I
you to
go
be
to
quiet.
him like that, Lord. You know it's me. I done messed up again.
I need you to be quiet.
You know your daughter. I, you know I'm not perfect. Like he already know what you did, so it's no need for me to go to him lying. What am I gonna lie about?
Exactly.
Why am I gonna try to act perfect? This is how I get my deliverance on. I'm
Yep.
not perfect. I'm far from it, Lord. You know I was about to choke her. I wanted to pull her through the drive-through. Like, look, Lord.
All kind of stuff.
Yes. You know I'm working on me, Lord. Even now, when if I'm at work and something happen, I'll be like, Lord, I'm working on me.
Yep.
And he'll just give me the strength to just walk away. You know I'm working on me. That is my thing right now. You
Like
know
you know
I'm
what?
working on me. At that moment, I need you. I'm working on me.
Especially that look you give, like that look you give yourself, like, "Ugh,
Take over.
wow.
I'm working on me.
When you, especially that look you give yourself when you should have reacted, but then you were stopped. You were stopped in mid reaction, like,
Right. Like
and
if
then
you
you ask
don't
yourself,
walk
like,
away,
why?
walk away right now.
Just leave, please. Don't say nothing. Just go.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, I'll tell them to leave. You ain't got. You just stay right here. You just stay right here. And
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that. I've heard that in my that little small, quiet voice a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Fred, I know you want to say something.
Well, don't do it.
Please don't.
At least he say please to you.
Nah. In some instances, I've heard be quiet. I've heard be quiet. Or the last. I think the last time I heard that little small voice, like I heard zip it.
Mm.
Like I'm like, who said that? Oh, you know what? I know who said it.
I'm a sipping Lord.
Cause I look around, who said it? Oh, I know who said it. Let me just go. Let me just keep my trap shut at this point.
Hmm.
Put my head down. I was like, look around. Like, I hope nobody saw me on my reaction real quick.
Hmm.
Yeah, God will do that. I mean, so but you have to follow the game plan. Because if you
Exactly.
don't follow the game plan, it's all kind of horrible stuff that'll happen. And like I said, no game plan, no game plan in football. No game plan is set in stone.
Right.
Those game plans change because they change as the conditions change, as the defense changes, as the percentage of run, pass, and all this other stuff changes.
Mm-hmm.
However, the game plan that God gives you remains the same.
That's right.
Like I said earlier, now, like I said before that, every once in a while, God will say, "Yeah, I'll let you call an audible right here,"
Mm-hmm.
because I'm pretty sure we see the same thing. We see the same thing. So go ahead and call an audible.
Mm-hmm.
But in most cases, we're the ones that call the audible
Mm-hmm.
because we think we can take advantage of something that we see before us. And then when the play doesn't necessarily work, or we get a minimal gain from it, we get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And they got like, son, what did I tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I tell you to do? Didn't I tell you to do it this way?
That's right.
You're hard headed.
Very.
Now I got that. See what happened. You're hard headed.
You see why you stuck? You
Exactly.
see why you still in that same spot 2 years later? Do you see?
You're
Uh,
hard headed. I want you to see this. I want you to see this. I want you to see it how I see it.
mm-hmm.
If you see it how I see it, then you probably wouldn't have made that decision.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't. We can't see it how we see it, and plus, simple fact of the matter is, we live in a microwave society, and we want stuff to be done in 30 seconds when it really takes an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get mad at the end result.
Right.
Why you mad at the end result? You the one took the quick and easy way out.
Hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you didn't take the easy way out, then you wouldn't be in that then you wouldn't be in that predicament.
That's true.
You wouldn't be in that situation. You wouldn't be in that circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be standing in the place that you standing in there if you did if you just chilled out and just listened.
Mm-hmm.
I God's telling you he see the field just like you see the field.
Yes,
Matter of
sir.
fact, he see the field better than you see the field.
Mm-hmm.
Trust when that ball is snapped and that player is ran, trust that player is going to work. And trust that player is going to get you to wherever you need to get you wherever you need to get to. You know, whether and whether it's success in life, success in your marriage, whether it's success is just being an all around better person and
That's right.
recentering yourself. Trust that. At the end of the day, and I'm good, and I need to say this because it's very important. A large part of what I talk about recentering yourself, a large part of that goes with a trust in God. The four things that I mentioned are the things that we do that we need to do
Mm-hmm.
intrinsically. But the but that's like what maybe that's like maybe 10 to maybe 20%. The other 80%, other 80 or 90% is having faith and trust in God that he will that you that he will make sure that your path that you go on the right path.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That you don't miss that left turn at Albuquerque. That you don't miss that left turn at Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't stray off the path that you're on. Or if you do stray off the path, there's always a secondary path for you to follow. Just trust.
And pray. There's an acronym: pray until something happens.
That's
Push.
it. Look,
And pray over everything.
everything.
Listen, when I when I was in school today, we had an exam, and I was like, Lord, you know, everything I studied, I need you to bring it back to my remembrance. Because a lot of times when we study things we won't remember what we have read or what we have
Exactly.
studied. So it's like, okay, I need you to bring this stuff back to my remembrance because I can't afford to fail this class. This
Exactly.
is just not going to happen. And the way they grade, you get a percentage.
Right.
But with this percentage, you have to have three separate grades, and they have to be each one of them has to be 70%. Now, mind you, so this is based off your clinicals, this is based off your exams, and then this is based off your overall grade. So if
Ooh-wee.
you don't get a 70 in one of those, you failed the entire class. You could have a 69.9. They don't average up.
Fail.
You fail. And you could have a 90 in the other two portions. But that exam grade, you got a 69.9, you got to retake this whole course. That means you have to pay again.
Wee, 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 wee.
So I'm like,
That means if you
you
flunk,
just
you coughing up more money.
right. And there's a couple of people that's in the class that did have to retake the class for that reason. And I'm like, Lord,
Do not let me be one of those.
I can't do this. I
I
trust
can't afford
you.
it, first of all.
I trust you. I trust you. And I'm going to use my time wisely. So a lot of times I'm like, when I come up here, when I say exhausted
You
between
truly are
work,
exhausted.
school, studying, I'm in school now. I went from 13 hours a week to 17.
Damn,
So
it tacked on 4 more hours, huh?
exactly. I leave my house on Mondays at 4 in the morning. I don't get home till 7:30 in the evening.
Jesus.
So that's not including the homework.
Yep.
Then I
And then on
still
top.
have to work my job.
Yep. And then
And
on
then,
top of that, you take the time, take time out of your day to come up here with you with Coco, and then you took the time to come up here with me, and that's something I appreciate. Honestly speaking, I really do appreciate that
no problem.
because I really do appreciate that because honestly, you didn't have to do it. You could have been knocked out.
Honestly, I was in my bed. And I was like, because when you asked us, I was like, I'm already in my bed. And I said, okay, I'm down here in the comments. Let me get up. Let me throw something on.
And then let me make
And
an
let me
appearance
just
real
go
quick.
on up here because I'm tired of typing. And
Right.
what you were saying too, it was just, I was like, okay, stuff is rolling in my spirit. So let me just get up and be obedient because you would
That's,
have did it for me.
oh yeah,
So
for sure, for
I
sure.
know. I know.
I'm
So I
just
was like, okay, let me go ahead and get this done.
telling y'all, man. Telling you, like Mark Ingram said when he talked about Lamar Jackson when they were playing, big trust,
Hmm.
big trust in God. You have to have that
You have
because
to.
because when we were, and I'm like I said, we're talking about recentering yourself.
Hmm.
You have to have that trust, man, because what you're taking on is a huge undertaking because not only are you recentering yourself, you're putting yourself back in to some semblance of balance.
Hmm.
You know,
And that's even when you're going through, because although you're trusting in God, He still said it's going to be some long suffering. You
oh
got to
yeah,
go through some obstacles. That's what's going to mature you and build you up. So don't get discouraged through the obstacles. You grow through your go through.
man, look, yep, your test is a testimony, your mess is
Yes,
a message.
yes. And you
Understand
still
that.
trust him.
Yep.
Because I'm going to tell y'all, I went through some stuff on last year, big time, but my mentality was, Lord, I trust you. Regardless of what it looks like, I trust you. When I don't have enough, I trust you that you're going to make a way. I trust you. And I promise you, he opened up several doors.
Yep.
So, I mean, y'all see what Job went through, but he still trusted him. He still trusted him in spite of. Just
And we
because you are God, I trust you. You're my creator. I trust you. And I
look,
give you glory.
and we
Even when I'm struggling, even when I want to give up, even when I'm discouraged, I trust you. I won't give up.
There you go. That's
When
it.
my kids is unruly, I trust you. Listen,
And we complain about small stuff, and Joe went through stuff that would probably take out a lot of us.
yes, but I trust you regardless.
Look, as we wrap this thing up, just understand that your recenter is not is being recentering yourself is not a bad thing.
That's right.
In most cases, we have to do that because something either we've shifted or we see something we ask our question we ask the question, is it me? We've reevaluated our connections, and we've gotten tired of calling audibles all the time, and we're those plays we call don't are not positive gauge for us. And in order to we have to recenter ourselves. We have this. It is not always a daily thing, but it's something that we have to do, especially when circumstances change, when situations change, when other things change. You don't. It doesn't have to be a traumatic event for you to recenter yourself. You don't have to go through something horrible to reset yourself.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be something that's so bad that well dang, I gotta do this anyway. So while it doesn't have to be something that you have to loathe in doing.
Right.
Resetting yourself can be very rewarding
That's right.
if you allow it to be rewarding.
Mhm.
Because I said before, all you're doing is putting yourself back into some semblance of balance.
Mhm.
We as human beings require that to we require to we need that to be able to live. You
That's
know,
right.
there's work life balance. There's also balance between like all four of us, me, Quit, Coco, and LHG. We we work. There's one part. There's one thing. We have a life outside of work. There's a balance there.
That's right.
Now, add on top of that, all of us are hosts on this particular platform. There's another thing we got to balance, and then on top of that, LSG has a husband. Coco has a husband. There's another balance to that. You
Mhm.
know, Quit goes to school. In addition to working, in addition to coming up here on this platform, there's another balance with that. I have a significant other. In addition to me being the CEO of this thing, as well as being an author, and I forgot to add that too. Quick, there's balance. There's balance there. We all this. It's not a juggling act. It's a balancing act. We have to keep. And those scales are not always going to be even.
Mhm.
If you, I'm gonna say this: if you expected to balance your life, and you expected those scales to be even, you got another thing coming. You're gonna be sorely mistaken. Those scales ain't gonna be even. They're always gonna be like like this. One scale's gonna be bigger than one scale's gonna be slightly big, slightly above the other.
Mhm. But the key to that is praying and asking the Lord to lead and guide you on a daily basis. Lord, what would you have me to do today? What would you
Exactly.
have me to say? What do you want to change about me? Allow me to see me for who I am. What needs to come out? You know what I'm saying? You have to, on a daily basis,
We have to be
speak to
receptive
him
to it.
when you get up in the morning before you do anything else. Lord, I thank you for opening my eyes. Listen, you didn't have to do it, but you did. So
Yep.
you gave me another chance to get it right because I
Yep.
might have had a bad thought that night. Hmm. Okay?
There are people out here who are not who have not been afforded that chance.
Exactly.
And when you hear God talk, you have to be receptive.
That's
Those
right.
those antenna got to be up
Mhm. That's right.
because because if they're not up, you gonna miss something.
And if he tell you to do something, it's like, okay, even if you don't have the finances at that moment or you don't have
The resources.
the
Do it.
resources, he's going to make a way. So it's like, okay, God, you told me to do this. I don't have this. So how do you want me to do it?
Just
He
do
may
it.
send somebody.
Exactly.
You never know.
Never know.
But
Never
will
know.
you recognize when he's sending the resources? Or will
Or
you
the
turn it away?
or the reinforcements.
Exactly. And how will you receive that?
Exactly.
Because some of us are very independent. And it's like, I'm not accepting no handouts. But this is what you asked for.
For
Let me give you a prime example. I'll be like, Lord, when I first got my divorce, I know you make provision for me. I know you're a provider. Lord, you're going to give me everything I need.
yep.
And I knew I had my apartment. I'm working. I got my kids. I'm a single parent now. I need to put food in my house. I got to pay all these other bills. Lord, you a provider. And
Yep.
my spiritual sister would come to the house and I'd be like, don't put no money on my table. But
She do
Lord,
it
you
anyway,
a
don't
provider. No, you a provider. She knew I wouldn't accept it. And if I knew it came from her, she lived across the street, so I'm bringing it back. That was my mentality. I was prideful. I had so much independence at that time.
you? Oh yeah.
So what she
Ah,
would do would call and say, "Let me speak to Mumu. Mumu, you and Day Day come downstairs." Okay. They come downstairs. She take them to the grocery store and buy a bunch of groceries and
wow.
send them upstairs. Okay. Now I have no choice because I didn't see the blessing when it was coming, or I wouldn't accept it because of my pride. I didn't realize it was a blessing at that time. Or my kid's father, my oldest daughter's father would come and drop money on the table. I know I couldn't get to him to give it back, or he wasn't going to take it back, period.
Nope.
But that was the Lord's way of saying, Quint, you got this need. You doing all that you can right now. I'm sending in the resources for you, but you too blind to see it. Or
What's
you
wrong
just
with
big
you?
headed.
What's wrong with you?
Exactly. So this is how he was sending in the resources.
Don't
And
slap the hands away.
my spiritual mom lived across the street. She'd be like, y'all come on over here, eat this food. She cooking. We was eating over there every day. Like she cooking, I didn't have to cook. They was helping with babysitting, all kinds of stuff. But
See?
this is how God moves. When He sends in the resources, you have to recognize the blessing that's coming your way.
Oh yeah. You
And
have to.
when you recognize it, receive it with an attitude of gratitude because it's a learning experience. And realize that your ladder will be greater than your past. So, in that blessing, he may be trying to humble you. Once again, I was prideful. So, he had to bring me down, teach me some humility. I had to rely solely on him. I
It's the
couldn't
only person
rely
that
on
do
anybody else. I wasn't going to.
it.
But
Shoot.
he taught me how to be able to accept a gift or a
It only takes that
blessing
one bite of
when it
humble
comes.
pie right there.
Yeah, because I don't want to go through
One bite of
it
humble pie.
again. That's
Look,
right. I don't ever want to go through it again.
like you know what? Since you want to act this way, here's this whole humble pie. Eat it.
All over again because I know about repeating the cycle. Trust me, ooh, Jesus, and it's not fun because when you don't learn the first time, He will take you through it all over again, and you'll do an entire 360. No, not
Like a
today.
like a spiritual groundhog day.
Exactly. I just want to do that 180, turn around, and keep it moving.
Yep. You don't want to keep repeating the same day over and
No,
over and over again.
no, because I feel like you lost a lifetime.
Exactly. And, at this time, this day and age, in this particular dispensation, nope, you cannot afford to lose.
Yes,
There's no time to waste.
that's right. And I
There's
don't
no
have the
time to waste.
time. And that's
Nope.
why I said time management is important. You have to understand time is valuable and you can't get it back.
A finite resource. A finite resource. So
Hmm.
if I put it like this: if you guys if this is something that was a blessing to you guys, I mean, just by all means, if you catch this on the replay, leave a comment in the comment section and stuff like that, man. It's one thing that we over here at Trailblazers Radio, we always do. We we make sure that we want to put out content that is life changing but also uplifting. We don't we call it like we see it and we call it like it is, but we most definitely try to be respectful of the things that we put out and the way the people that we're touching.
That's
So
right.
I most definitely want to thank my sister for coming up here and just dropping gems over here. Cause yeah, you dropped a few golden nuggets. So I mean, I appreciate that.
Well, praise God. Praise God.
I most definitely appreciate that. Even though she keeps saying pastor, I mean, I don't consider myself any of that. Just
That's Pastor Fred, y'all.
no,
Pastor
ma'am.
Fred.
Just I consider myself someone who's lived life and whose experiences could be translated to a lot of things, a lot of content that we put out. This thing right here, recentering myself is my current process.
He going through his process gracefully.
It's my current process, and I could have came up here and I could have said a whole bunch of ugliness, but I'm like, nah, why do that?
Right.
Let me tell y'all my process. Let me tell
Grace.
y'all what the process that I'm going through right now. Maybe it's something that can help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And my hope and my prayer is that it does help somebody.
That's right.
You know, like I said, we call it like we see it, but we call it like we see it. We tell it like it is, and we tell the truth. We tell the truth. We tell the truth over here and shame the devil over here
That's right.
because
But sometimes you have to move in silence
oh
and just let God bless. Well, as you keep your mouth shut and the Lord start blessing openly, oh Jesus,
yeah,
and all you
that
got to do is thank Him. Everybody don't need to know what you're doing. Don't let the left hand know what the right
right
hand is
here doing.
doing.
That's it. It's and that's no truer word said right there, man. And with that being said, that is the benediction, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
So as we close this thing out, man, look here. We thank y'all. We thank y'all so very much for just tuning in to us tonight, man. Continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms, y'all. But also, you can catch us on pretty much most of our audio streaming platforms. Not too dang, Spotify, Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and pretty much catch us on those on pretty much most audio streaming platforms. Um, Follow us on our website www.trailblazersradio.net, and like I said, there's a LinkedIn page coming soon, and there's also a Patreon page coming soon. So most definitely keep you guys on it. But we'll definitely keep you guys in the know about that. Um, and follow all of us on our various social media platforms, man. Um, Follow Quinn on her social media platforms. Follow Coco on hers. LSG. Follow me. We're all over the place, man. We're all over social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Um, things that we are all over the place. So follow us wherever we are.
Clapper,
Flat. Oh, well, I see. I
clapper.
Clapper. Okay.
Yes.
So
Super
I guess like
live.
super live. Oh yeah, super live for sure.
Yes.
If you guys, Coco and Quit are heavy on TikTok and Super Live. So make sure when they do their Q&A sessions, make sure you are in the place for that.
Yes,
Because
that's tomorrow. Q and
okay,
A. Q and A.
so you heard it here. Q&A is tomorrow. Bring your questions. Bring your questions. Just I'll say this. Please do me a favor. Don't hit them off with heavy stuff. Cause God.
Ah, not that we can't handle it because we
No, no, no.
handle it
I know.
well.
Not
The
that, not that y'all can
Lord
handle it. But
allows us. But yes, it would be nice to have
but
a.
do with no heavy stuff tomorrow. Good grief.
I don't want to get off crying tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because the last couple of times I was in the Q&A session with these two ladies, oh boy, heavier than the elephant's foot on your chest. It is heavy, and it was heavy because it was very emotional and low. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna run up out of here, but when you do what these two ladies do when it comes to these Q&A sessions, and the results from these Q&A sessions speak for themselves, y'all. We've gotten testimony after testimony of people's lives being changed just by somebody watching a Q&A session, that speaks volumes
Yes, it does.
to what they do on a daily basis, to what they pour out on a to what they pour out every Monday and Thursday, y'all. And that's not to say the other two people on this platform are slouches either, because LSG's been doing it with her Girl Talk Daily Tuesdays and her Critical Conversation shows. So
Mhm.
big ups to her. And every once in a while I come over here with a check-in show, or I got an author I'll speak to and stuff like that. So, but we all do our thing here, but we all do it gratefully, we all do it gracefully.
Yes. And God gets
So
all the glory out of all of it.
indeed, out of if it because if it wasn't if he didn't have his hand in it, this right here does not exist. It does not.
That's
So
right.
I gotta give it all. So I gotta give the glory, gotta give the praise, gotta give the honor and the credit, because if his hand's not in this, it really don't. It really don't. This doesn't jump off the ground.
That's
So
right.
I am very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the people that I am aligned with.
Yes.
So I
Absolutely.
really am. But just like Quinn said, tomorrow Q&A session. Be present, be in the place for that. This Friday as well. Um, there's good. We're gonna play. We're gonna replay part one of the Art of Forgiveness. So tune in Friday at 6 p.m. Part one of the Art of Forgiveness is a replay. So
Mhm.
make sure if you missed it, this is your opportunity to catch it again.
And also at 3 o'clock, we have a pop up show. We have a guest. She is an entrepreneur and a vocalist. So
Oh,
she is
snappy, snappy.
joining us, and it's going to be awesome. She's going to sing for us, and she also does vocal coaching. So,
Oh, snappy, snappy. Look at here,
yes,
y'all.
yes.
Pop up show, y'all. Pop up
Pop
show.
up at 3. Then my book, as Fred said, we're going to replay part one, The Art of Forgiveness. So if you missed it, catch the replay on that. If you have any questions, you can inbox me. You can get the book from Amazon.com. If you're dealing with any unforgiveness, this book is good to help you to
Yep.
deal with your forgiveness.
Yes,
So
indeed. Most
but
definitely do.
the disclaimer is it's not for everybody, because if you're not ready, don't get it.
Exactly. So make sure that you're ready for that before you decide to jump into that discussion. Um,
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say this. I've actually watched those. Like the you did how many chapters? You did like 3 chapters already. So thus far.
Yes.
So I've watched all three of all three of those shows. And yeah, it's a game changer. It is a game changer.
Well, bless the Lord.
It is a game changer. So, like I said, so if you miss part one, Friday at 6 p.m. is your opportunity to catch part one. But make sure you also tune in to the other shows, to where she talks about each chapter of her book. I guarantee you will be blessed. I guarantee you'll be blessed.
And I did
Also,
have a guest um, last week, because we touched on the Jezebel spirit.
ooh,
Whew. And I'm telling you, you have to deal with that part, because it's similar to the narcissistic spirit. So if you're triggered or ever dealt with any type of control or manipulation, and that's what you're holding on to, we touched on that. So,
right,
and listen, who
yeah.
Jesus. So
Look
y'all
here,
can read along with us. Y'all can join in the conversation with us. If you already got the book and it blessed you and you want to come on and talk to us about it, you are more than welcome. Just let me know, and
indeed, you
we'll have
sure.
you up here.
Oh yeah, and don't forget, like I said, we started a couple of shows that are like that were well. I know, like the last couple of weeks, a couple of weeks ago, we started a show called Incest. We're going to continue. We're going to continue down. We're going to keep digging it. We're going to keep digging into that, because it's something that's rarely talked about, and it needs to be brought to fruition. It needs to be brought to light, because there are some people that need to be healed from that,
Yes.
that is our that is our calling. That is our I don't even call it a job. because it's not a job to me. It's just something that I take pleasure in doing. I take pleasure in doing to see somebody heal from something, you know, and see somebody prosper and be able to overcome. That's where my pleasure derives from. Because as long as someone, if someone is we're reaching somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it's a mission accomplished for me.
Yes.
Oh, the last but not most definitely not least before we close out, Sunday, and there's an Authors Alley special show that's gonna be coming on Sunday at 4. My guest in the building will be what's his name? Well, I forgot this lady's name. Her lost it. Her last name is lost. Hold up, God dog it. This is what happens when you got so many things going on and
Right.
you have no idea what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I do know what I'm doing, but just so y'all know, I do know what I'm doing.
He know what he doing sometime, y'all.
Her name is Joe Marie Lawson, and we're going to talk about her book, her writing
Uh-huh.
journey, and the purpose behind her book. So make sure you tune in for that. And with that being said, oh, tell them about your event that you'll be there. Tell them about your event that's going down in Georgia.
Oh, okay. So I am doing a 2-day conference in Georgia, September 22nd and 23rd. The theme is Your Pain Has Purpose: Reset, Revive, and Restore. We are going to have some awesome messengers that is going to come. We have my pastor, Pastor Andre Mitchell. He is one of our speakers. We have Coco. She is a messenger. We have um, Dr. No Pastor, sorry, Eva Barber. I'm giving her a elevating people. Pastor Eva Barber, who powerful woman of God. We also have Dr. Kimberly McWilliams, who's going to be in the house. So the flyer is going to be out most likely by next week. My goal is to work on it Sunday so that I can get it out since I'm off on Sunday. Thank you, Jesus. So my goal is to work on that on Sunday so that I can get it out there. The registration fee is going to be $50. So those of you that may be in the Carrollton, Georgia area or surrounding cities, it is going to be there. If you need to get a hotel room, all of that information is going to be on the flyer because we did block out some rooms. So, yes, I pray that we get to see you in the place.
There you go. That's what's up. And yes, and please believe I Coco told me about this, and we're most definitely going to do another poetry night. So y'all heard it from the mouth first. We are doing another poetry night because the first one was so awesome. And I got so much feedback from it from the people that were present. Yeah, we gonna spin the block on that one, y'all. We most definitely gonna spin the block on that, y'all. So just keep your eyes and your ears out for us, man. We got some great stuff that's coming down the pike, man. Just the only thing that we want y'all to do is just keep your eyes and your ears out for us, man. Like I said before, please, 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 Quinn, if you have the link to that, go to Coco's GoFundMe. Could you please put that in the comments, please?
Uh-oh.
We have a GoFundMe for our sister Coco Fenton. We are trying to raise money to get her some medication, some life saving medication, or a life saving procedure that can save her life and improve her quality of life. We want y'all to take a look. Click on the link that's going to be coming up in the comments, y'all. And please please support. If you cannot give monetarily. Like I said earlier, digital currency is just as important. Give Put this out to people in your circle of influence. Let them put that out to people in their circle of influence. We are this GoFundMe is gonna be up until the goal is met. Um, we want to be a blessing to our sister. We want to give her the opportunity to have to take part in something that could not only save her life but also improve her quality of life. And I think when someone's quality of life is improved, their outlook on life is so much better, and it's so much more improved. So don't so please just take a look at the website. Take a look at this website. The link that's right here in the comments. Um, if you feel led to give, by all means do so. If you cannot, again, digital currency is great because that spreads faster than actual monetary currency. The more people that know about this, the more people that can share it and everything else in between. Also, don't forget.
Fred, put the other one up.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget about tomorrow, My Life Has Destiny Q&A session. Don't forget about Friday, replay of part 1 of The Art of Forgiveness. Don't forget about Saturday, Critical Conversations with LHG. Don't forget about the pop-up show that's going to happen. That's happening tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Don't forget about the pop-up show that's
happening. Friday is the pop-up show at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Don't forget about the pop-up show that's happening on Friday at 3 o'clock, y'all.
Don't we have the versus battle on Sunday?
Louis, what time?
I think 8. But that's going to be via Zoom, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if I'm not mistaken, then yes, there is a versus battle that's going to be via Zoom. If you guys want to be a part of that versus battle, if you guys want to just sit in and just listen to some great music and stuff like that, and let us know, we'll shoot a Zoom link to you, and we'll have fun. We're gonna have some fun, y'all. So make sure you guys tune in for that as well. With that being said, man, we love you guys, and there is nothing you can do about that.
That's right.
At all.
That's right.
So if you wanted to, you can't. But before we go, I really want to bless y'all with this video. I played it during my last Arthur's Alley show, but I want to play it again because I want people to see this, and I want people to listen to it. It's a great message behind it. So the person who did the person that is you're going to be hearing is me. Okay. And I'm giving credit to I'm giving credit. The track credit goes to Jan Hunter Jr. A great producer, man. You guys can catch him on Instagram and also catch him on Facebook. Catch him on Instagram and also on YouTube. The track came from Chill Tape Volume. I think it's Volume 3. The name of the track. The track is called Lunchtime Chill, but the name of the song that I wrote to it and put to it is called Real Talk. So, want you guys to enjoy this, and then enjoy that, and then with that being said, enjoy this video, and we will see you guys on the next one.
All right.
That's Hunter.
Yeah. Mr. Angry Man is back. I'm back. That's right. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. Nah. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. Yeah. Listen. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. Y'all ain't know that I can rock like that. United we fall, divided we rise. That's all they ever see when they look in our eyes. I ain't the least bit surprised, and I don't even ask why. I study, looking for love, and all we get is despise. They proper lying, meaning they falsely prophesying, talking about we really living, but we steadily dying. Tired of mothers crying and fathers silently raging. There's gotta be a way to escape this situation now. Yup. Come on. Verse 2. We search for brighter days to escape the maladies, giving homage to the folks that passed away. I speak life with the words I say, and that's the weapon I use to keep the evil at bay. I don't play when it comes to mine. My rhymes speak of a revolution. This time it's by design, and I'ma drop these deposits. So if you scared, take your ass to the closet. Why? Let me tell you this. Let's go. I got one more verse for you. Get them off of that verse. Listen to me now. Verse 3. I drop gems, representing lugs and Timbs with backpacks. I got props like Black Moon, they want effect like Dons. I'm pouring mic like Nas. I'm the southern playalistic cat that beat them odds. I'm coming out hard, we coming out hard. Yes sir. Y'all didn't know that I can rock like that. Ha. One time for your mind, representing for the deuce. That's right, put it down for the deuce tray. Let's go, Mr. Angry Man. Haha.